First and second round now in San Diego, California, Friday and Sunday. The 6th seed out of the SEC is the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Jaden Shackelford leads the Tide, averaging nearly 17 points a game.
Crimson Tide are back in the NCAA tournament. Alabama is the number 6 seed in the West region and will take on number 11 seed Notre Dame, who won their first 4 matchup against Rutgers 89-87 in double overtime. Roll Tide and welcome to Tide TV this week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my Kennedy Chase, my co-host, back from spring break. How's everything going?
It's been great. I mean, like you said, it's spring break, so it's a great time of year, and there's March Madness. So what more can you ask for?
Well, for the first time in 15 years, the Crimson Tide earned an NCAA tournament bid in back-to-back seasons. And with the Tide's number 2 seed last season, this year's 6 seed makes it the first time in 30 years the Crimson Tide have earned a 6 seed or better in back-to-back years.
And Roger, this is the 22nd time in school history Alabama has made it to the NCAA tournament. And with a win over Notre Dame in San Diego on Friday, Alabama advances to the second round to take on the winner of the matchup between 3 seed Texas Tech and 14th seed Montana State on Sunday.
Alabama enters the tournament with the number 1 strength of schedule in the nation with some other big wins on their resume already. Crimson Tide has already beaten number 1 seeds Gonzaga and Baylor.
Alabama also defeated 3 seed Tennessee, 4 seed Arkansas, 5 seed Houston, and 6 seed LSU. In fact, half the Tide's 32 games were against NCAA tournament teams. In those 16 games, the Crimson Tide are 9-7.
Tide has played the best competition of any team this season. Now it's time to make it all pay off. And here's how the Tide can make that happen.
You know, kind of 3 things on both sides of the ball. It's take care of the ball, make our layups, make our free throws. On defense, let's continue the effort. You know, that's a winning effort, but we got to show some IQ, execute our plan, and do it without fouling.
And Roger, this is a great time of year. Spring is just around the corner, and it's March Madness, so there's always so many great stories that come out of the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. So many great moments, plus those inspirational stories that we learn about from teams and players we don't normally watch on a regular basis.
One of the biggest inspirations to the Alabama men's basketball team is one you may not know about. It's not one of the players or coaches, but he's a huge part of this team. He's an inspiration to everyone involved with the Alabama men's basketball program, and that's assistant coach Antoine Petway's son, Kingston.
He sees the best in everybody. I think that's something like everybody can learn from him, and you know I learned from him, but he's all love, man. I never want that to change about him, and yeah, he's all love, man. Yeah.
Kingston, who's number 5?
Zach.
And who's number 10?
Becky. Michael.
Who is number 3?
J.
Who is number 0?
No.
Just run up there and shoot. Like, do it right.
Well, he absolutely loves playing basketball.
Yeah, he's not doing something you do around the house. We definitely use basketball. I hear mom saying all the time, you don't do it, you ain't going to the game. And he goes right, like he straightens up.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Coach. And Daddy.
The first thing I look for, I look up in the stands, man, and he is so excited and trying to get down to, you know, to be with his boys.
He is so funny. He's a joy. He just has such a pure heart. So Kingston, at 3 years old, he was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. We were actually really confused at first because he's very personable. He always has been, and he still is. Smiling, laughing, but he wasn't talking a lot. And he did not start walking until he was about 19 months. Very, very late. We just started to notice, especially when we were around other friends, that he was definitely delayed from their children. So we took him, started noticing some things. We actually drove him to Birmingham for 2.5 years to get very, very intense therapy, and just to try and prepare him for when he was ready to go to school. I never knew if Kingston would be able to read or write or do math. And just literally 2 days ago, his teacher sent me a picture of him, and he was reading for his class.
He's perfect, man. I teach him things, but he teaches me things all the time. He teaches me how people should be treated, how to find the good in everybody. He teaches me how to love. I always say, like, hate is taught. You know, I see him with his friends, I see him with people his age, and he love them. Like, you have to talk, you have to teach hate, and I never wanted him to be taught that. I always want him to love and have that spirit. I think he can accomplish anything. So to see what he goes through and to see, like, how he keeps going and how it doesn't affect him and how he's never, like, wavered on being who he is, it motivates me. It's just been a blessing because he's all love, man. Yeah.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
They're headed to the Women's College World Series.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide are your SEC champions for the 6th time with a record-breaking run at the Rhodes House. And a perfect present for Montana Fouts and Alabama at the Women's College World Series.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The Alabama men's basketball team isn't the only team participating in postseason play this week.
That's right, Roger. The Alabama women's basketball team was selected to be a part of the Women's National Invitational Tournament, also known as the WNIT.
Alabama hits the road to take on Troy in the first round. The in-state matchup is the 21st meeting between the two schools, with the Crimson Tide holding a 17-3 advantage all time.
Christy Curry's squad entered the WNIT on a hot streak. The Tide has won 5 of their last 7, with 2 of those against top 25 teams. The Tide knocked off number 8 Tennessee about a month ago, including 2 wins in the SEC tournament with wins against Auburn and 24th ranked Georgia.
Just really proud of our team for having the opportunity for postseason. The way we finished the month of February and going into the SEC tournament and getting a couple wins, I definitely feel like this team is excited. And we hope that momentum will carry us into a really tough road environment. We have a lot of respect for Coach Rigby and her program. And, again, it's just a great opportunity for us on the road.
With the win, the Tide will advance to the second round to take on the winner of JSU and Tulane. The 64-team field will conclude with the championship game on April 2nd.
The Alabama gymnastics team will begin postseason play this Saturday in Birmingham. Dana Duckworth's squad will take part in the SEC championship at Legacy Arena. 6th-ranked Crimson Tide are the reigning SEC champions. In last season's championship win, Tide used a season-best score of 197.875 to win their 10th SEC championship. Luisa Blanco won the all-around with a score of 39.8.
It will be a very competitive SEC championship this year with 7 of the 8 teams ranked in the top 22, but Alabama is peaking at the right time.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide finished off the regular season with a pair of 198s, marking the first time in school history of the pair of 198s during the regular season, and the Crimson Tide did that in their last 2 meets.
It's fast-paced, it's going to be competitive, and it just allows these ladies to shine, and it's the sweet spot of all the hard work in regular season paying off to start postseason with something so much fun. And I just want them to be present, have fun, and enjoy the ride because it's going to be intense, it's going to be fun, it's going to be in Birmingham. I'm very excited for them.
Now, Alabama will compete in the second of 2 sessions at the Southeastern Conference Championships in Birmingham. The Tide will begin competition on Saturday at 7 p.m. and will air live on the SEC Network.
While the Alabama gymnastics team is beginning postseason competition, the Alabama football team is beginning their preparations for next season. Crimson Tide football team began spring practice this past Friday with a 2-hour practice on the Thomas Drew practice fields in helmets and shorts. It marked the Crimson Tide's first workout of the spring, one of 15 total practices.
Friday's practice was also the first for 4 new assistant coaches. Outside linebackers and special teams coach Coleman Hutzler, cornerbacks coach Travaris Robinson, offensive line coach Eric Wolford, and tight ends coach Joe Cox all took part in their first practice as assistant coaches for the Crimson Tide.
We had a really good off-season program, and I think the most important thing about the first practice is, I don't care what grade you're in, how long you've been here, whether you're an early enrollee, whether you're a senior, everybody has got to focus on what they need to do to improve. So this is a good starting point for us. We're not disappointed where we are, but we're certainly not satisfied with where we are, where we want to go, and how we're going to get there. But everybody has to have the ability to self-assess because I think that's the best way to improve. And there's not one player out there that's playing for us right now that doesn't have something that they can improve on. Obviously, it's a new team. You're looking for new leadership. There's guys that have opportunities at several positions, and there's competition at those positions. And it'll be interesting to see how some of that stuff shakes out for us. I'm excited about the new coaches that we have. Every one of those guys have made a very positive contribution with their energy, enthusiasm, their knowledge, how they've helped contribute to solving some of the issues and the problems that we sort of uncovered in self-scout in terms of things that we need to improve on. So we're excited about the staff, we're excited about the new enrollees, we're excited about the transfers. All in all, I'm very encouraged by sort of the effort, energy, attitude that the players have had, and it's a fun group to coach.
But the team got this past week off for spring break. The Tide returns to the practice field on Monday for their first of 4 practices next week.
Spring practice will come to a close with the annual A-Day game on Saturday, April 16th at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The Alabama baseball team was at home this past weekend as the Tide hosted Binghamton for a 3-game series. We'll show you how the Tide fared coming up next.
And the Alabama softball team took their perfect 20-0 record to Baton Rouge as the second-ranked Tide took on number 21 LSU for a trio of contests. We'll have that and more when TideTV This Week returns.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
William Hammer to straightaway to center. Oh, baby, did he do it? Yes, he did.
And now Drew Williamson, look out downtown.
Gone. Throw there is not in time, and Alabama is a winner. Both teams had a chance to celebrate today, but it's Bama's that counts.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. The Alabama baseball and softball teams were in this past weekend.
Yeah, the Alabama baseball team was here at home while softball opened SEC play on the road in Baton Rouge. Coach Brad Bohannon's Crimson Tide baseball team spent this past weekend hosting Binghamton for a 3-game series. Garrett McMillan provided the Tide with another impressive start for his second win of the season in Game 1. McMillan tossed a career-high 7 innings of 1-run baseball, allowing just 2 hits and striking out 7 batters. Tommy Seidel led the Crimson Tide on offense as he was 3 for 4 with a double, 2 runs scored, and a team-high 4 runs batted in. Eric Fago added a solo home run, and Zane Denton finished with an RBI double and a 2-run homer to left center as Alabama cruised to a 9-3 win in Game 1.
Alabama's offense erupted for a season-high 14 runs and a 14-2 win over Binghamton in Game 2 on Saturday. The Tide scored 5 runs in the opening innings thanks to 3-run homer to right field from Drew Williamson. Eric Fago made it to back-to-back homers in the very next at-bat with a solo shot to left. Antoine Jean picked up the win with a career-high tying 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 3 hits.
Alabama completed the sweep with a 5-3 win on Sunday's series finale. Zane Denton hit his second home run of the series, a 2-run shot to center in the bottom of the first. Grayson Hitz started the game for the Crimson Tide, going 4 innings, only allowing 2 unearned runs. Jacob McNary got the win in relief, and Dylan Ray picked up the save with 2 1/3 scoreless innings to close out the game.
The Tide followed up that series sweep with a tough 3-2 loss to Southern Miss in Hattiesburg on Wednesday.
Second-ranked Crimson Tide softball team was set to begin a 3-game series against number 21 LSU this past Friday. Bad weather, of course, moved Friday's game to a doubleheader on Saturday. Crimson Tide dropped both games on Saturday to number 21 LSU, but bounced back in the series finale on Sunday. For the third game in a row, Alabama scored first on a solo home run. It was Jenna Johnson first 2 games, this time Bailey Dowling with a shot to left. Megan Bloodworth added another run on an RBI double to center field in the third.
Montana Fouts went the distance as she allowed just one of the unearned run in 7 innings. Fouts struck out 10 as she picked up to win to improve 11-0 on the year as Alabama bounced back in Game 3 with 2-1 win.
After a 5-2 win over Southern Miss on Tuesday, the now 4th-ranked Crimson Tide hosted number 2 Florida State on Wednesday. With 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the first, Kaylee Tell made a statement with a 3-run shot to deep center field to make it 3-0 Crimson Tide.
With Bama up 4-1, Florida State tied the game at 4 with this 3-run shot down the left field line. Lexi Kilfoyle allowed just 1 unearned run in 6+ innings of work, but the Tide committed 3 errors that produced 5 unearned runs as second-ranked Florida State came from behind to defeat 4th-ranked Alabama 6-5.
Softball and baseball will both have top 10 matchups here at home this weekend. Baseball hosts number 9 Florida, while softball welcomes number 8 Kentucky. Each will play a 3-game series beginning on Friday.
And there's a new national champion among the Crimson Tide. We'll tell you who it is when we return in just 2 minutes here on TideTV This Week.
They're headed to the Women's College World Series.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide are your SEC champions for the 6th time with a record-breaking run at the Rhodes House. And a perfect present for Montana Fouts and Alabama at the Women's College World Series.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. We shared a very inspirational story from the Alabama men's basketball program at the beginning of the show. We have another for you now, and this time it is a student athlete, and now he's a national champion.
6 years ago, track and field's Bobby Colantonio Jr. was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He was given a 20% chance of surviving, and if he did survive, it was likely he would lose a leg to amputation. But he beat those odds. On Friday night at the NCAA Track and Field Indoor Championships, Bobby Colantonio Jr. stood atop the winner's podium at the Birmingham Crossplex with a gold trophy, the national champion in the men's weight throw. He became Alabama's first national champion in the men's weight throw event with a final throw of 23.60 meters. Colantonio finished with more than a half meter better than the rest of the field.
Mercy Shalenga led the way for Alabama women as she took home the bronze medal with a 3rd-place finish in the women's 5,000 meters with a school record time of 15:31.6. The Crimson Tide also had several other top 10 finishes as women finished 28th and the men finished in the top 15 at 13 for the 5th consecutive top 15 finish for the men, the longest streak in program history.
Absolute dream come true for Bobby Colantonio Jr. So happy for him and his family.
What an incredible journey, and now he's a national champion. Congratulations, Bobby. The 9th-ranked Alabama women's golf team competed at the Valspar Augusta Invitational this past Saturday and Sunday. 20-plus mile-per-hour winds created tough playing conditions as the tournament was cut short on Sunday. Alabama finished the 16-team field in 4th place.
Polly Mack led the Crimson Tide with her first top 5 finish of the season as Mack finished tied for 4th at 3 over par, 147. Also, the Alabama rowing team hosted the U.S. Naval Academy for a scrimmage during spring break on Tuesday.
As we go to break, let's take a look at those images from Alabama's matchup with Navy.
not in time, and Alabama is a winner. Both teams had a chance to celebrate today, but it's Bama's that counts.
Launched. Matheny, track, wall, out of here. Home run number 5, RBI, 14 and 15. 3-0 tie.
Runs up on it, line drive, base hit left field. It's gonna send Callan to the plate. The throw, she's gonna be out a mile.
That ball's belted deep, center field. Second of the year for Kaylee Tao, and it's Bama that makes the early statement with a 3-run blast.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. Those are our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
This week we go with a couple of our stars from the NCAA championships in track and field. Bobby Colantonio Jr. earned the Crimson Tide's first national title in the weight throw. Diagnosed with cancer just 6 years ago, he defeated the odds and completed his dream of winning gold at the NCAA championships. Colantonio captured the title in his final attempt with a throw of 23.6.
And Mercy Shalengon took home bronze in the women's 5,000 meter at the NCAA Indoor Championships. She finished third with a school record time of 15:31.06.
And those were our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Yeah, big congratulations to all of our new national champions here at Alabama. Make sure you tune in next week as we bring you more on the Crimson Tide and the all-access content of Alabama you can't get anywhere else. We'll see you next week, everyone. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,